This pregnancy was a mistake, an incredible inconvenience that would ruin her chance to get her teaching degree. Perhaps allowing the child to be adopted was the best course of action. But if she carried this baby to term, could she bear to part with it? Could Ty? And if they decided to keep the baby and take on the rigors of parenting, were they ready for marriage? As much as she loved Ty, the thought of having the rest of her life nailed down was both suffocating and terrifying. But choosing just to live together and raise the baby would alienate her parents. Caring for the baby alone was unthinkable. How was she supposed to make all these decisions? She needed time to process. She blinked away the raw disappointment she knew she would see in her parents' eyes. They expected better from her. Hadn't she promised herself and the Lord that she would save her virginity for her husband? How would they react when they realized she had broken her promise unashamedly, and with an unbeliever? Then again, wasn't she the child who always seemed to disappoint? How was she supposed to compete with a pre-law scholar like her older brother Ryan, or a gifted and talented math whiz like her little sister Emily? It wasn't as though her grades weren't satisfactory, and she was working diligently toward her elementary teaching degree, a worthy, achievable goal if she didn't lose her momentum. A baby would change everything. How could she find time to study if she was caring for an infant? Her mind flashed back to when Emily was born. So tiny, so perfect, so demanding. Each person in the family took turns holding her, feeding her, changing her, rocking her, and it seemed never-ending. Vanessa felt as if her lungs were in a vice and she couldn't breathe. She rolled down the windows and let the crisp January breeze flood her face. She took a slow, deep breath, and then another, and then another. She started the car, pulled onto College, and drove toward Chelsea Park. At least she had just been home for Christmas break, and her parents wouldn't be expecting to see her again for a while. That would give her time to think through her situation and make a decision. Vanessa sat under a gigantic oak tree on the wrought iron bench closest to the bandstand in Chelsea Park. Despite the biting north wind, she was uncomfortably warm and sticky under her wool peacoat. She looked up just as Professor Ty Nicholson got out of his yellow Corvette and strolled across the brown, crunchy lawn toward her. He waved, looking handsome in his tan London fog and black trousers, his thick, dark hair a striking contrast to his reddish beard. He hurried over to her and pressed his warm lips to her cheek, then sat next to her on the bench and warmed her hand with both of his. "Sorry I'm late," he said. "I was with Professor Roberts. The man doesn't know how to end a conversation. What's up? You look stressed." Vanessa felt robotic, almost as if someone had pushed a button to make her speak. "I've tried to think of an easy way to tell you this, but there isn't one. I'm pregnant." She stopped breathing. The silence that followed seemed charged, like those seconds between a flash of lightning and the boom of thunder. Ty leaned forward, his elbows resting on his knees, and combed his fingers through his hair. "How could this happen, when we always used protection? Are you absolutely sure?" "I just left Planned Parenthood, there's no question. I'm about 8 weeks along. I'm as shocked as you are." Ty's silence sent a chill crawling up her spine. Finally, he said, "Okay, what's done is done. Set up the abortion and I'll pay for it. Let's get this out of the way." Vanessa felt as if her tongue was a lead weight, and her stomach was falling down an elevator shaft. That's it? Couldn't he at least think about it? Consider the options? Ask to hear her thoughts on the matter? Ty slipped his arm around her. "You'll hardly skip a beat. Set it up for Thursday or Friday, and give yourself the weekend to recuperate." He put his lips to her ear. "It's the best solution, honey. You've got your education to think about, and I have to guard my reputation." "Are you ashamed? People will find out we're